Hey everyone, I'm Kay Sagan. And guess what? After last week, we're going to be talking about some more Big Bang comics. Today we're on one of the more one-to-one Superman analogs that I will be discussing in this series, and that is Ultiman. The character was initially called Ultraman, but was later renamed as Ultiman for reasons that I'm not certain about, but I would speculate was to distinguish him from a certain size-changing Japanese superhero. As with all of Big Bang comics, Ultiman is a direct homage to Golden and Silver Age DC comics. In this case, even having both an Earth A and B version to represent the different eras. The two have some differences, but the consistent part is that Chris Kelly is exposed to a meteor and gains superpowers. The Golden Age Earth B version, a la the Earth 2 Superman, starts out weaker, jumping, not flying, but never has any of the weaknesses of the Earth A version. Also, he has a belt, and doesn't wear gloves. He also has some shades of Captain America, being a 4F rejected from the army during World War II. He also happens to be one of the few characters to have been adapted, in this case into the Big Bang TV special, Knights of Justice, which I have not seen. The Earth A version ends up with a longer story and tons of Silver Age style shenanigans. For one thing, his identity is publicly known, so to have privacy, he pretends to be his own deceased twin, the way Daredevil used to. Ultiman took advantage of the death of his criminal brother Carl to give himself a secret identity and some solitude outside of his secret citadel, where he would take refuge inside an extinct volcano. The Earth A version also needs to recharge his powers from the initial meteor encounter, but doing so radioactively poisons him more each time. However, he has the full suite of Silver Age Superman powers from the get-go to offset this weakness. From this position of having three identities, Ultiman at first tried to make time for Lori Lake, a Lois Lane-style character. Unfortunately, as his body developed resistance to the atomic radiation of the ultra-uranium meteor that he was initially exposed to, Ultiman eventually had to take refuge from the public eye. He ended up marrying Arlene Arliss, who was more of a Lana Lang type figure, and tried to establish a family while living in seclusion. The relationship didn't work. Arlene did not really care for the life of solitude, and was concerned about the radioactive properties of the meteor and how they would impact her daughter. Meanwhile, Ultiman developed a greater resistance to the meteor, requiring larger and larger dosage of radiation each time to gain powers, and experiencing more severe side effects each time. As I noted last time, the Earth A Ultiman played a mentor role for Thunder Girl, but we get stories set in the future where his daughter Ultra Girl takes over as preeminent hero of the world. But that's a story for another day. For now, let me end with a recommendation for anyone who enjoys extremely retro stories of Superman to dig up Ultiman. Many of the comics are available online, and Big Bang is putting out new stories. It's a great palate cleanser when you need to get away from modern comics. Ultiman initially comes across as a very straightforward, simple take on the Superman archetype, in a very plain blue and yellow costume. But there are wonderful layers of depth to the character, developing a really robust world and setting. This is the promise of Big Bang, after all, telling classic stories, but with additional narrative complexity that the more mature medium can afford. So check out Ultiman, and then tune in next time when we'll be talking about his daughter, Ultra Girl. But until then, stay super, man. Hey everyone, I just want to thank you for listening to the end of the video. Please do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, etc. But also check out the podcast that goes along with the show, Men of Steel. It's part of the Certain POV podcast network. You can find it at certainpov.com. While there, you can also find a link to our Discord server, where you can interact with me and all of the other podcasters from Certain POV directly. Hope to see you there.